All right, ladies and gentlemen, after you have completed both sides of your bridge, and this is true of whether or not you build it out of popsicle sticks here in class, or you build it at home with popsicle sticks, or you build it out of cardboard like I did because it's all you had around. Either way, the next step is to assemble these two identical sides. And what I like to do first is identify exactly where the car or load block will be placed. You might remember from another video, the load block is 6 inches long. Let me grab that here. So this is the test block or load block that will be pulling down on the center of your bridge when it's tested. So pretend this is a car that has to travel through the bridge and it's 6 inches long. So what I like to do is take my ruler and I like to measure 3 inches out from the center point. So if this is the center of my bridge, I'm going to come out 3 inches and put a little mark there. And then I'm going to come out 3 inches this way to the 6 on the ruler. So that car is really going to be resting in this general area. And then we can transfer that same information over to our other side here. So again, that car is going to go from there to there. So all of this is where that car is going to be resting. We'll come back to that in a moment. Now it's time to put the two sides together. It's really important that you stand them up straight. If they are leaning when you glue them together, that's going to make your bridge much weaker. So you have to get creative and find something around you to hold them up. I got a block of wood here. I've used tape. I've used a glue bottle in the past. Anything that you can find to help keep things propped up is a good way to go. I know that we want the distance here from one side to the other to be 3 to 4 inches wide, from the very outside edge here to the very outside edge here. Right now that is right on 3. I'm going to make mine a little bit wider. So let's see here, we'll do this instead. I'm going to add a block of wood here like that. And now we've got, double check my measurement. Yeah, we're about 3 3/4 inches wide. So that's about what we want. Now the hard part is keeping it all right there where you want it. So I'm going to take a piece of tape temporarily and I'm just going to tape it to this block of wood. Again, you could use a book, you could use the wall, you can use anything that you can find that will be standing upright. So just put a little piece of tape here to my glue bottle to hold it in place. And now we want to make sure that the ends are where they need to be so that the sides are parallel with each other. So I'm going to come out to this end, I'm going to check the measurement, that's 3 7/8. And back here I've got about 3 3/4, I'm just going to move it a little bit. Yeah, we're good. So now these lines, or these sides rather, are parallel with each other. Now it's time to build the structure that's going to go across the top and the bottom. So what I'm going to do is take some cardboard, you would be taking popsicle sticks depending on how you're building this, and I'm going to put a mark here just like that. We're going to cut this to length. And you would be cutting popsicle sticks if you're doing it that way. And I'm going to make 4 of these that are all exactly the same. 1 for each corner. So I'm just lining these up. I'll use 1 as the kind of the template here. And then we'll make 4 of those. All right, once we've got 4, I usually start by putting 1 right up top here. So I'm going to add glue to my bridge, just like that. And then we're going to glue this piece right there, and that's going to help keep this project square. So I'm just going to hold that a little bit until the glue dries. Now we do have to make sure the car can still fit in through the bridge, and it will, it'll fit. I'll have to go over this, but that's fine. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. You can either add the glue to this or to the bridge. Making them all the same length is the critical part of this. Now I see here that these corners are sticking up a little bit, so I'm just going to raise this up a little bit like that. Okay. And then I'm going to come down to this end and do the exact same thing. So take 1 of these, a little glue across the end. I can move the block of wood out of the way now. Pretty sure it should stay. There we go. And then this is going to go right up here. Again, by making these braces all the same length, it makes it a lot easier to make the project square. So we've got that there, and then we've got one more for the base down low. Something like that. Now, we're not done with the bridge, but it finally looks like a bridge. It's still not very strong, but we're going to work on that. So that's how you get the two sides connected. Now, triangles are the way to go here. So you might notice that this thing is not stable at all. We need to lock it together with some triangles in the top, maybe some triangles on the end here, something like this, depending on how you want to do it. And we also need something to carry the weight of this car. And you'll remember we marked exactly where that car goes inside here. So you have a choice here. You can put your load supports, because we call this the load, right? The load bearing supports or beams could go on the bottom. They could go on the top, or they could go on the inside. And I think it's safe to assume that if we put them on the bottom, the only thing keeping them there is the glue. So really, by putting them on the bottom, you're just essentially testing how strong your glue is, not how strong your bridge is. By putting them on the top, it gives us a better chance of success. It makes it stronger. And we could lay them flat across the bottom, but then we run into this issue here where they might bend easily, or we can stand them up. And you can design this however you want. I usually tell kids here in school that the first time they build it, it's probably going to be terrible, and that's okay. I don't want it to work great on the first try. I want it to get better and better and better the more they refine it and improve it. So if it doesn't work the first time, that's okay. Now we can't put one right in the middle because that's where the testing rod goes through, but we can look at where our lines are for that testing block and be sure that we're putting one near the end of that block, but still within where the mark is, okay? Putting a support back here wouldn't really help much because that's not where the weight is going to be. The weight is going to be on, or right where that marker is. So now I'm going to add one for the other side. Now, just for the sake of not wasting your time and a long video, I'm only adding 2, and I'm putting them on the inside like this. You might add more than 2. You should add more than 2. But now, after that glue dries here in a few seconds, we have something that will at least carry the weight of that block. Okay, the glue is not dry yet, but you can see here it is holding the weight of the block and it's passing through the bridge. And then the question is, how can you make it even better and stronger? But this should get you started on how to at least get it put together and holding the test block. And then what you add to that is probably going to help a great deal, but if not, that's where the refinement part comes in. Good luck.